If you're a maintenance supervisor for a commercial property, you've had to deal with everything from leaky faucets to flickering light bulbs. But nothing's worse than that ancient boiler that's lived in the building since the day it was built, 50 years ago. It's enough to make anyone lose their cool. That's where Grainger comes in. With industrial-grade products and dependable fast delivery, Grainger can help with any challenge, from worn-out components to everyday necessities. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If you're a facilities manager at a university, you know students rely on the cafeteria for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and the occasional late-night snack. So when a dishwasher breaks down and dirty plates pile up, the mess hall can turn messy in the blink of an eye. Enter Grainger. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast delivery, the product you need now is never far away. So you can turn that dishwasher back into a lean, clean washing machine. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Welcome to IGH Going Rogue. Today is Monday, February the 3rd, and man, we have been living the best 2 weeks in the history of this country, at least since I've been alive. What an amazing couple of weeks the president has had, from everything, every executive order to every nomination to, every nomination hearing. I mean, the people are just amazing. Tom Homan, and what a stud that guy is. Finally we're rounding up all the garbage, getting them out of here. Trendarawa, MS-13, who knows, every other criminal that's out there, child molesters, rapists, criminals. And in L.A., you have, tons and tons of Mexicans waving Mexican flags, protesting, blocking roads, confronting the LAPD. We need, paging Tom Homan, get your ass over to L.A. and round them up, goddammit. Anyways, we're going to have a great conversation today. As always, we have amazing guests. This guy is a good friend, but he's also a true patriot and a hero. Robert Arce, a former narcotics detective in Arizona and Phoenix with the Phoenix PD. He's done so much work, international. He's done work with the agency, with DEA, cross-border stuff with the cartels. I mean, they're in his backyard, and sometimes they were even in his front yard. So he knows them well. We're going to have a talk with him, a very frank discussion, because one of the things that I want to do is I want to ask Robert, hey, Robert, welcome to the show first. I did that on purpose, by the way, while you were picking up their mug. So, wanted to see if I got a spit out of you or something. But one of the things that I want to ask Robert, is about Tom, and also about what the president did declaring the cartels terrorist organizations. So by doing that, in essence, now we can go after the cartels. Everybody's hollering and jumping up and down, thinking this is going to be a walk in the park. That's why I think it's important that Robert explained to everybody that it's not a bunch of guys on mules or on horses with a, maybe 38 or something. These people are very well trained, very well equipped, have a tremendous amount of funding, probably more funding than the U.S. military, and they're very, very dangerous people. So, for everybody thinking that that we're going to be able to go take out the cartels overnight or in a week, or send in SEAL Team 6, doesn't really work that way, does it, Robert?
No, and I think a lot of it, the designation, initially at least, kind of like the tariffs, is pressure on the Mexican government to start cooperating. I was in Mexico from 2014 to 2017. I was there under the presidency of Peña Nieto.
Yeah.
There was cooperation at the time. U.S. law enforcement, the DEA, U.S. Marshals. There was a cooperation. The DEA had a vetted unit of the Mexican Navy, La Marina, working very closely with them, and there was some success. The problem was the vetted unit were hard chargers, but there was a lot of tipping off to the cartels. So when the cartels were tipped off by other people within the Mexican government, a lot of their raids were unsuccessful. I think what when Lopez Obrador came into office, he totally just took all the cooperation away. There's been very little cooperation with U.S. law enforcement inside of Mexico. And this new president, Claudia Sheinbaum, she's the same. She's close to Cuba, Venezuela, as we like to call her. She's a castrista, a chavista, madurista, and she's not friendly with the U.S. Now, if you notice the headline this morning, the tariffs work. She's negotiated to send 10,000 troops to the border, and for a 1 month reprieve on the tariffs. If you looked at what was going on over the weekend, the Mexican peso was already tanking. So I think the designation in the tariffs was initially pressure on the Mexican government, start cooperating with us and stopping the flow of immigration, of the illegal immigration going through their country and being waved into ours, and also start cooperating with us on the fight against the cartels, the fentanyl, the methamphetamine. And then if it doesn't work, use that designation. The material support designation is really the hammer. You can start hammering people inside the U.S. who are providing material support to the cartels, which the material support is anyone providing money, providing assistance, direction, giving contact information, just anything that you're doing to help, especially with the banking institutions, people setting up transportation, renting cars, renting houses, because these cartels use straw owners within our country. You attack those people and you flip them because they're looking at a 15-year sentence and you get them to flip. So if all else fails, I then think the striking at the cartels within the Mexican government, I think that would be the last resort. But I think initially it's come to the table and cooperate, because there's been no cooperation.
It's a lot of posturing from both Trudeau, anyways, I'll leave the name calling to somebody else. But I think we both agree on our thoughts on Trudeau. But in Mexico's case, did she really think that she was going to push back, stand up, play some kind of bullshit game with Trump? Trump will hammer the shit out of her, and obviously she figured that out real quickly. I saw that story last night about moving 10,000 troops to the border. Our good friend, Governor Abbott in Texas, tweeted out something that was very funny. He said, "Let me remind you, Prime Minister Trudeau, that the economy in Texas is several times larger than all of Canada. So don't play stupid games about, you imposing tariffs and wanting to, fight back, because, you'll disappear." So I think the tactic is real on the tariffs. So I'm good with that. I mean, a lot of people are like, oh, we're going to start a trade war. How long can a trade war work with these two people? I mean, a couple of weeks, maybe. And I don't think it even goes that far. Tom Homan, I mean, this guy's a patriot. You got to love everything that he's doing. He's a no bullshit guy, kind of like you, right?
Great guy, like the guy.
Yeah, do what you say what you do, right? And that's what he's doing. He's not pulling any punches, not holding back any words. He's not trying to make friends with the media or the press. He's got a job to do, and like you said, I'm tasked to do a job. And that's what I'm going to do. And he's getting a lot of the bad people out down here in Florida. I forgot to mention, over the past 2 weeks, they've busted, 4 vans, cargo vans with 80 Chinese people. They're being dropped off, so they're being boated over from Bahamas. So, the border situation, the illegal immigration, the invasion, as Trump calls it, is not just coming from Mexico. It's starting to come from everywhere, right? And this whole thing that people are, they're going to go after everybody. Now they're coming after not just the criminals, but everybody. And Tom Homan said, look, if we go pick up an MS-13 guy and he's with 4 other people and they have 13 tattooed on their face or their arms or their face or their forehead, we're going to ask questions. And if they're here illegally, we'll get them out of here too, right? So, are there raids? Are there redadas? Is La Migra coming and, walking in and sealing off factories and asking everybody papers. That's not happening, right?
No, what's going on right now, if you read a lot of the news, it's just they want to spread hysteria, and they want to get people angry at the Trump administration. And if I watch our local news here in Phoenix, they're making people believe that ICE is going into churches and schools.
Yeah.
They're doing roundups. I read of one roundup that occurred at a car wash. I think it was in Virginia, but it was a complaint that had been received that they were hiring illegals and exploiting, paying almost nothing to the employees, so they did a raid there. But they have a list of people who have been adjudicated, people that there's deportation orders, thousands and thousands and thousands of these people that are criminals. They're criminals here. They have warrants in their own country. Those are the ones they're looking for right now. They're not going out to a little league baseball game or a basketball game and start rounding people up. And sadly, a lot of people within the Hispanic community, the open border lunatics that they're trying to spread fear. And most of the people that are spreading fear are U.S. citizens. They're under no threat of being deported.
Right.
And like I said, I talked to Border Patrol, I talked to ICE, talked to Border Patrol 2 days ago, my contacts, and I think the best thing that for our listeners to understand, they said when Trump was being inaugurated, within hours they were hearing changes were coming. And these guys came in the very next day, and suddenly their use of force policy, their pursuit policy, all the other policies of they could detain, and now everybody was being moved back to the border. At one point, Border Patrol was telling me that approximately 70% of their personnel were stuck working the centers, babysitting, changing diapers, giving bottles.
Yeah.
And now everyone's going back to the border, and they're rocking and rolling right now.
That's awesome.
But the flow has pretty much come to a standstill because the word gets out to the rest of the world. You're wasting your time if you get to the U.S. border. You're not going to get paroled into the country with a court date 5 to 7 years down the road. Those days are over.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, look, I spoke to people at the bureau. I spoke to people at CBT as well, and it's amazing. During the Biden administration, everybody was told to stand down.
Right.
Don't pick anybody up. Okay, so we know where they are. We know what their offense is. There are criminal retainers against them. Why aren't we executing them? Leave them alone. Even the bad guys. So it was clearly a strategy to create chaos or something by the Biden administration, and really continue to push, this situation of, let's keep them here. Let's flood the gates. I don't know. Maybe we can somehow sneak, some kind of legislation and make them all legal, and then have them voting Democrat for the next 30 years. I don't know. I mean, that's the only thing I can possibly imagine, Robert. But going back to the cartels, that's a favorite topic that I love to touch with you. You've had so much experience with them, head to head, face to face, gun to gun, right? Round to round, including one of your partners getting shot in the face, etc. You don't just send SEAL Team 6 and wipe them all out.
No, they're
very well armed. They have a lot of money. They're trained. They have probably the size of an army, right?
The bosses have their little security details. Most of the bosses, if they have a security detail, they'll have a small group that are very well trained. The rest of their pistoleros are just kids. You give them a rifle. They have no training. They're just cannon fodder, really.
Okay.
But the actual bosses, the plaza bosses,
yeah,
they will have small armies. A lot of times, a lot of their protection are cops.
They're mercs,
a lot
right?
of them are active duty cops with training.
Wow.
A lot of them are. I mean, you see it everywhere. Occasionally in Mexico, when I was there was a state just north of me that the corruption was so bad they fired everybody.
Wow.
The whole state police, the city cops. So when you would roll in to some of these cities, there was no cops. There was just every now and then an army unit would be out there, and as you're driving through the town, major cities, you would go to checkpoints, but they were cartel checkpoints. You would see guys with jeans and baseball caps with body armor, baseball cap pulled backwards with an AK, and they are manning checkpoints at major intersections.
Wow.
And that's just life in Mexico.
So you remember, I wanted to bring a fun fact here because I just remembered it. Remember back in Trump won the first term when he was talking about the coyotes.
Yes.
And these idiots in the media, CNN, were saying, this is even impossible to do. I mean, how could anybody train coyotes to carry childs and children across the border? And they actually thought they were talking about coyotes, the fucking animal. I mean,
yes.
That's the type of ignorance that's out there. They don't understand. Explain to us what a coyote is. Not the animal, but the cartel members, please. One more time as a refresher course, because there's so many fucking imbeciles out there. And a lot of them watch our show, by the way, which is amazing. We love you. Keep on tuning in. It's all about ratings, baby. Love us or hate us, we're here, right? So might as well get educated. And who better than Robert Arce to tell us about these coyotes?
Well, before I explain what a coyote is that I worked in Phoenix PD.
Yeah.
Phoenix is a smuggling hub.
Yeah.
And at the last 2 years of my career, I worked primarily narcotics cases and gangs. My last 2 years, I worked human smuggling investigations attached to an ICE unit.
And it's a smuggling hub because of the interstates, right?
Yeah, location to the border. We're right just 2 hours from the Mexican border. You jump on the 10, you haul ass to Phoenix. They use the human smuggling organizations who are nicknamed coyotes or coyotes.
Yeah.
They're the smuggling organizations in Mexico. And like with this current crisis, the Mexican smugglers send contacts to Central America and set up shop and tell people, hey, we're leaving on this day. You're going to pay this much. We will provide security for you on your travels to Mexico. And they'll take them all through from Central America through Mexico. And then they get them to a hub along the U.S. border, either in Texas, Arizona, California, just south, or north of the U.S. And then they cross them into the U.S. When I worked human smuggling in Phoenix, they had drop houses where it's a safe house.
Wow.
Where truckloads will bring in the illegals, put them in a house, and normally they'll rent a house and there'll be no furniture. They plywood the windows, and when the illegals come in, the coyotes have the smugglers have security. They have people that are armed. They have a notebook. They'll grab a notebook and write people's names, their name, who their sponsor is, that's going to pay the money, phone number, and location. Once the money is paid, which is wired to them,
holy shit,
then what they'll do is they'll have like a super shuttle system set up. Just a big truck, a van, and they'll look at a map and go, all right, this guy's going to North Carolina, this guy's going to South Carolina, then we can send these groups to New Jersey. So they have two drivers because they get on the freeway, load up a truck with illegals, and to save time, they just haul ass on the interstate. Much of the time, these guys are on meth because they want to stay awake.
Holy shit.
The more they travel, the more miles they cover, they come back for another trip. So they take off and they'll start dropping people off at various locations as an unofficial super shuttle.
Yeah.
We would hit these houses in Phoenix, and I've mentioned before on some of your prior shows that we had a house with 160 illegals in one house.
Holy crap.
Kick in the door. A week later, we hit another house with 180.
Oh my God.
And in those homes...
I hate to ask you something so vulgar, but man, I can imagine the bathroom situation must have been fucking horrible in there.
The bathroom stopped working. The plumbing cannot take. So people are having to go in buckets. They're crapping and pissing in the bathtubs. And it's just piling up. It will not drain. So when you hit the door...
Oh, the stench.
The stench, and these illegals, when they cross to the border, 2 days, 3 nights, They haven't had a bath. They're in the same clothes. It hits you like a wall.
Holy shit.
And there's no furniture in these houses. Everyone is sitting on the floor. The smugglers will take your tennis shoes or your pants off. So in case if you try to escape, they can spot you running around the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Like I said, they plywood the windows, and then they put deadbolts in certain bedrooms for special people that they're going to put.
I was about to ask you that.
We kick one door in, and there's all the pretty girls are in there in one room. And the girls are telling us that when they left Guatemala, when they left El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua,
they were just raped.
They were put on birth control pills because they knew they were going to get raped. They were encouraged not to wear nice clothes, don't wear makeup, to not try to draw the attention of smugglers. There might be in another room somebody who's special that they're going to pay more money, so they get like the VIP treatment in their own little room. And I worked the human smuggling for 2 years. Then later I saw the same thing in Mexico. I was in Mexico for 3.
Yep.
So I got to see the famous La Bestia traveling through Zacatecas with people on top of the train. But going back to the smugglers could be the guides that are guarding people through the desert that are waiting for you in northern Mexico, where they get a group of 20 or 30 people and cross them through the desert. They already know the route to get them to a pickup location out in the desert where trucks are picking them up. They could also be the guy that's working security at the drop house, or it could be the drivers, the chauffeurs. There's also guides that are working the train, the beast, La Bestia, all through Mexico, and they are in charge of giving transportation and guidance to these illegals as they travel all through Mexico. So they're constantly being handed off from one group to another, and they work for one organization. These smuggling organizations have to give a payoff to the drug cartel that controls that smuggling route. Wow. A drug cartel is not going to allow you to use a smuggling route for human smuggling for free. They fight for that drug route, blood, they lose personnel. So if you're coming through with people, you have to pay a tax to use that route. And you might be part of that same criminal organization, except you're the smuggling side. But you cannot be a mom and pop organization using a major cartel smuggling route.
It's not a side hustle. It's not a side hustle.
No, this is their job. It's not like this. They do this on the side. This is their job.
Holy shit, man, that's crazy.
So during the Biden administration, these groups made, money hand over fist.
Yeah. Well, I would imagine. I mean, there are numbers out there that are saying, 10 to 15 million illegals crossed the border during the Biden administration. And it's I think it's very believable. And this whole number about 11 million illegals, they've been using that since fucking Bush 41, right? Yes. So we probably have like fucking 30,000 or more, But who knows? I mean, so if we all know this, can't we shut it down? I mean, I saw that Trump moved troops to the border. I saw pictures and video of troops right on the Rio Grande on the other side. In essence, we've blocked that.
I think I saw the numbers over the weekend. The flow has dropped, I think, about 93%.
Holy shit.
Is what I saw already.
That's amazing.
The Border Patrol right now that I talked to, the ones that are down on at the front line, they say it just stopped. Within 2 days, it just stopped.
That's amazing.
They're out there patrolling, and this is a busy season. The busy season for human smuggling. What happens is that people that are here illegally, around December, early December, they all tend to head back home. Back home to the country that they're claiming that they're fleeing, and that's why they need asylum here. Well, they'll return back home to spend the Christmas and
New Year's, etc.
New Year's, all that back in their home country. Yeah. January, about right after Three Saints Day, Dia de los Tres Reyes, Reyes.
Epiphany,
Yeah, they all start, it's a stampede. You'll see a stampede coming back because here they come. Well, they got to pay a smuggler again. And then from January till it gets hot here in Arizona,
Yeah.
it is peak time for smuggling. But right now the numbers are really down because we have enforcement and we're waiting for them.
All right, so back to Tom. Back to Tom. So
Yeah.
So our agencies and our people know that all this happens. We know where the bad guys are. So now, how is Tom going to proceed to go gather these people? So he said he's going to go after first the criminals and the gangs and the Trinidad and all that. And, you know, funny, I mean, you saw that Trump, you know, revoked TPS for Venezuelans. There was a whole thing with Stephen Miller arguing with Jake Tapper on CNN over the weekend. But so we know where some of these guys are. So he gets them. How easy to get them is it? I would imagine criminals are good at hiding. You know, regular illegal folks are just out there, you know, trying to be careful, but they got to go to work. They got to, you know, they can't go hide in a house for eternity, right?
Right. They'll use informants. Obviously, they have informants on the ground. There'll be well, there's other things that I won't go into.
Yeah.
But there's tricks of the trade that you can use to track them down. Now, believe it or not, a lot of them when they were released, they gave an address, and they still might be at that address.
Jesus.
Sometimes, I mean, you'd be really surprised.
They are stupid. You've always said they're very stupid people, right?
Yeah. You know, I mean, we would have an address. I mean, this is how stupid this is. When I was working with ICE, we were looking for a guy one day, and finally I saw no phone number. So I called the phone number in Spanish and said, hey, I talked to his mom. And I said, hey, is so-and-so there? And she denied it at first. I said, I got a landscaping company, and they gave me his number. He said he likes working every now and then. And he came on the phone.
Holy
so
shit.
I told him, hey, I'll pay you cash for a day's work. And he says, all right, I'll be in front of the house. I pulled up, and he had his little lunch bag and everything. So we grabbed him. And then all of a sudden he tells me, damn, I was just going to start a job today.
That must have been quite a surprise, huh? Quite a surprise for him. And did he?
Yeah.
I got to ask you, did he get to take his lunchbox to jail?
No, we gave the lunchbox back to his mom.
Oh,
yeah.
That was very nice of you guys. Yeah.
He had some burritos in there and everything. It was hilarious.
Oh, my God, bro. That is crazy. So the numbers I've been hearing are about 680,000 actual violent criminals, either pedophiles, murderers, rapists, you know, involved in drugs, human trafficking. 680,000. That's a lot of fucking people, dude.
Right.
How long is it going to take to get that many people? We're gathering how many people a day? Mr. Producer, any idea over there? How many people are we picking up a day illegally? 1,000, 2,000? Do you remember?
I know the last numbers I saw were sub 1,000, like 900.
900 a day.
Yeah.
Shit, dude. So that's a long fucking time.
Now, I'm hearing what's going to happen. They're going to start forming, at least in the big cities, task forces of investigators with a combined ICE, PD groups that are going to start attacking the illegal alien street gangs.
Good.
So start targeting them. And that's what I would do. I think that's what they need to do. Here in Phoenix,
Have you heard about deputizing civilians as well?
I've not heard that. No.
I saw DeSantis propose that here in Florida.
Right.
You know,
I did see that.
Yeah, saying that, you know, that we could start in Florida, that he wants to get everybody out of here, and, you know, if that involves deputizing civilians to help ICE, then he's all for it. And I was like, holy shit, that would be crazy. Can you imagine a state like Florida where everybody's fucking strapped?
Like here, like Arizona.
Yeah, or Texas, right? Everybody's fucking strapped. Everybody's going to raise their hand and say, fuck it, I'll get deputized. I'll go fucking round up all the pieces of shit I know, right?
Right. Yeah, I'm hearing right now they're going to form task forces with ICE. I was a gang cop in Phoenix for, about 5 years. And we had an ICE agent assigned to our team because the group, my partner and I, we worked only illegal alien street gangs. There's plenty of them here. So we worked those neighborhoods, and when we would encounter an illegal alien with a handgun and had nothing else, we'd go after them. So I'm hearing that. I think they're going to have, I'm trying to think how long. We're asking this. How long will it take to round up till you have to start doing anyone else? I think what would happen is that initially it will be the most violent criminals.
Yeah.
Then eventually it's going to be other people who just have deportation orders.
Yep.
But I think those will come later. And I think right now they're just trying to get the most violent, the worst of the worst off the street, because there's plenty of them out there.
Hey, Robert, so you're an expert in this field. Talk to
Yes.
the American people about the different gangs that operate today in the U.S. I know you got Latin Kings, you got MS-13, you have Trendarawa now. I me's there's others, right? And how violent, how dangerous are they? How do you protect yourself against some of this stuff?
Well, here in Phoenix, it's different. I know in the East Coast, other cities have MS-13, have Tren de Aragua.
Yeah.
We don't have a large Central American population here. We don't have Venezolanos here. We don't have people from Venezuela.
Yeah.
I've asked, do we have Tren de Aragua here? We don't have them. They travel through here. They're not staying. When I was a gang cop, we had MS-13 two different occasions try to set up shop in Phoenix, and they were stomped by our illegal alien gangs who are Mexicans, called the Wetback Power.
Called what?
Wetback Power.
Oh, Wetback Power
is the biggest at the time. Was the biggest street gang by numbers in Phoenix. And when MS-13 came in here,
They got
the
crushed.
Mexicans said, we ain't going to have this because there's just so many more Mexicans. They didn't stand a chance. So you have Mexican-American street gangs. These are street gangs of Mexicans who have been here multi-generations. They no longer speak Spanish. So they constantly are at war against the illegal alien, against Wetback Power. Everyone thinks, well, aren't you the same? No, we're not the same. Because just with any ethnic group, the new arrivals are always picked on by the ones that have already been here. Because culturally, they're usually pretty different.
Yeah.
And the ones that come from the other country look down at the American-born ones. You're not us. You didn't grow up like we did. Yeah. You didn't suffer like we did. And everybody thinks that everybody gets along. No, they are constant warring with each other. In the prison system, Mexican Americans need to be separated from the illegals from Mexico because they will kill each other.
No shit.
They eventually join forces for the drug trade, but for most part, they do not get along. They fight on the street. So here in Phoenix, we have illegal alien gangs from Mexico, and they split up by state. While we're from Sinaloa, we're from Sonora, we're from Chihuahua, and stuff like that. And they will fight not only against each other, Mexican gangs, illegals against each other, they will war against the Mexican American born gangs. And the traditional street gangs in the Southwest, California, Arizona, Texas, New Mexico, where your American-born street gangsters of Mexican parents that have been here some since the early 1900s. But those were the traditional street gangs. When we started having the stampede of illegal aliens, the illegal aliens formed street gangs for protection from the Mexican Americans in the high schools. So people need to understand that. It's just not that, they all have Spanish surnames, they all look alike, they all stick together. No, they constantly fight.
And being caught in the middle of that is you're fucked, right?
Yeah.
So,
and the thing is,
you know the tagline here, right? Truth bombs, F-bombs, no bullshit, so let's fucking go. So, Robert, we have to say it like it is, right?
Yes.
We have to say it like it is. There's too much tiptoeing around a lot of this crap. And something that we've always talked about, especially off camera, in the past, because previous shows have been, on network or whatever, but this is real, no bullshit. How do civilians protect themselves from this situation because it's going to get violent. That's without a doubt. The violence is going to increase, right? Because as they feel the pressure of being sought and chased and hunted down, they're going to have to run. They're going to have to hide. They're going to maybe break into somebody's house and hold up, And aside from the gangs, right? Aside from the gangs, we know that there are terrorists inside the country. And that's what worries me the most because people are fucking stupid. People are used to just going to the mall. They're not aware of their surroundings. Everything is hunky-dory. And the truth is that, man, there are so many soft targets here. And we've seen that happen, with the last few attacks before Trump came into the office, right? Lone wolf style. What should people be aware of? Because there's going to be more of these attacks on the homeland for at least the next year or two. And I suspect that's going to increase dramatically until we can hunt them all down because we both have friends on just about every agency. A friend of mine that was in CBT was telling me at one point, between 50 and 100 Russians were coming in daily through San Isidro. Why? Chinese. Why? Africans, I get it, I guess, but they're also Syrians. They're also, people from all these Middle Eastern countries. So there's some numbers out there of, I can't remember what the number is, but, several thousand known terrorists that were actually captured. How many got through?
Right. I tell everybody, here in Arizona, we can carry, conceal anywhere.
Yep.
Like I told you off camera, I just went to the firing range this morning to go qualify for my Leosa, which gives me permission to carry, conceal throughout the United States.
Every state, right?
Yes. In every state I can go carry.
Yeah, but you get that because you're former law enforcement, though,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's some places I cannot carry, but for the most part, I'm okay to carry. And I tell my family members, I tell friends, especially if you live in a state that allows you to carry concealed.
Yep.
I wouldn't leave my house without having at least 2 guns on me. Dude. Either one in a different place. Exactly. And
dude, we're always strapped. I'm always strapped. I always have one on me. I always have another one in the car, and in the trunk I usually have an AR or a shotgun or my 300 blackout. I have 90 rounds on me. Just in that one, and and another 6 mags between the handguns. So if I'm ever in trouble, I know at least I'll have the firepower and ammo to make enough noise and hole up until help gets there. My kids, my wife, everybody's strapped. I think you can't live in America today without concealed carry. You just can't.
You have to, whenever you're anywhere, look around. Where's an exit? Yeah. Where's an exit? Where if the shit goes down, where's the quickest place I can get to get out of here, or at least open a door to get people out?
Yeah.
And the old thing. You always keep an eye out. Head on a swivel. Look around. If you see anybody suspicious, don't just look at them and keep walking.
What does that mean? What does that mean, Robert? Because I know people don't understand that.
Okay, you're constantly looking around.
Yep.
You're looking around. If you see something suspicious, don't just keep walking.
But what does suspicious mean? What does suspicious mean? Because
you feel there's something that this guy does not. He stands out.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like he belongs here.
He's
Why
weird.
is he wearing such baggy, warm clothes? It's hot. Look at the way this guy's dressed. Circle back and maybe watch him for a little bit. That's all. Just circle back. Act like you don't see him. Don't even have to stare at him. I mean, when we do surveillance as cops, you're following somebody, something so simple as you're watching a guy here and you're looking at him to a reflection on here. He doesn't realize you're actually looking at him. Stuff like that. But you report something. If you see something, no matter if you think it's stupid, call it in. Yeah. Let somebody come over and check it out, because there's a cigar lounge that I hit here, and there was some guy that showed up. Several people thought he looked suspicious. It was summertime. He had big heavy clothing on. We had an AR.
Jesus.
And he started shooting people.
You're shitting me.
He opened up, he shot 2 people, and his AR jammed.
And then he got taken out.
No, his AR jammed. He didn't know what to do. He dropped it and took off running.
Oh,
he was just
God.
a moron. He didn't know what he was doing. Thank God.
Yeah.
And he was some guy that was, he was, what do they call these guys? An incel. An incel. He was angry at women because he could not talk to them, and he decided he was going to go out and start shooting women.
What?
He was like some computer nerd or some guy that was socially awkward, and he grabbed an AR, and after 2 shots, it jammed, and he didn't know what to do with it. So he literally just threw it on the ground and took off running. He just got sentenced to, I don't remember, I think he got life in prison. He killed 1 person.
I can't believe nobody shot at him. You know?
Yeah, and it was like, they said that there was some guy who had a concealed weapon. He heard the rounds, he ducked behind a wall, and when he looked back, the guy was already running. He had dropped the rifle.
Yeah. So that leads me to my next question is, what do you do if you're strapped and something like that happens?
That's an individual decision you have to make. You know.
But if you decide to engage, how do you engage?
First of all, if you decide to engage, remember, other people will probably be running towards that area with handguns. You always have to remember you could be mistaken for one of the terrorists or one of the active shooters.
And get shot. Yeah.
Yeah, get shot. You know, to me, what I would try to, me personally.
That's always been my concern, is shit, something happens, you draw. And what happens if somebody else thinks, oh, there's a shooter, and fucking whacks you?
Whacks you too. To me, I think the thing is that most of these, one day, we're talking earlier about how I believe we have hundreds, if not several thousand terrorists in our country right now.
Yeah.
And one day we're going to run into somebody that when the people show up to take them down, normally they shoot themselves or they drop their gun. We're going to run into someone that's totally dedicated to their cause, and they're going to fight till they die.
Yeah.
And so if you're a citizen and you see something like this, that's a personal decision. You got a handgun, you got your family, get them out. Then you make a decision. Get them to safety. Do you turn around and go look for this guy to confront him? Do you try to contain him? A lot of times with a lot of these nut jobs, as soon as the first rounds start going off in their direction, they give up. They either shoot themselves or they drop their handgun and it's over. But I think sooner or later, we're going to face a threat here.
Yeah.
Of some people, maybe multiple people showing up at one location.
Yep.
At a soft target, a school, a mall.
Yeah. That's what I'm afraid of, like malls.
Event.
Malls are so easy, and they've already tested them as well.
Right, and the thing is that that's frightening. If you had multiple people or multiple attacks in the city at the same time, causing maybe something going off over here, you send the police that way, an attack happens over here, but that is a personal decision, and the other thing too, if you have a concealed carry, train.
Right.
Train. Because
and let me add something real quick.
Doesn't mean that.
Yeah. Let me add something real quick. Is and I'll add something in form of a question. Obviously you have to train. You have to get out to the range. You have to perfect it. You have to be good at shooting. You have to be able to target, and aim, and hit. It's not a video game. So don't get cute and try and go for headshots, right? Center mass, right? Center mass.
Well, we teach center mass,
and not just one shot. Hit them with multiple shots, right?
Yeah, center mass. With us, our training, we do a lot of center mass, then raise up to the head.
Yep.
Because if they're wearing body armor, they might not drop.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Right.
When do you stop? How often? You just shoot until the person drops, right?
Right. You want to till you eliminate the threat, or you control them. You drop them. But the thing is that when you train at the academy, we go to the academy. I go to different ranges now. Yep. A lot of people like to train only on that paper target, turns faces. Try different drills. Try drills where with us we do drills where you purposely create a malfunction, a jam in your handgun, and now you're shooting, you're up there, and it jams. What do? Just like this kid that had a jam in his AR, you know what to do. A speed clear and reload.
Yeah.
Always carry extra ammo, carry an extra magazine or two.
Yeah.
Train on how to drop that one, let it drop, don't go pick it up, drop it,
and load
pop the next one, charge,
and
and you're ready to go.
Yep.
And it becomes what do they call it? It's more of a
muscle memory, right?
Muscle memory.
Yep.
It's muscle memory,
yep.
Where you can load without looking down to where your magazine is at.
That's right.
You could holster without having to look down. You could do everything while keeping your eyes on the target.
Yep.
And you do it with practice over and over again.
But again, so the advice is don't just shoot them once. Don't stop shooting, right? Until the target drops.
Right. You do multiple rounds till the target drops. If the target drops, stay at the ready, assess, look around,
kick the weapon out of the
right.
person's hand.
Be ready to go. Be ready to go.
Yeah, because I've read about people just taking one shot and then they get fucking killed.
No, the thing is that it's a personal decision you have to make. How competent are you with your handgun?
Yep.
You might be carrying a handgun only for protecting you and your family.
Yep.
If that's all you want, get out. Notify someone so they can get there. If you clear your family out or you're to safety yourself, then it's your decision. Do I go back? Do I try to encounter this guy? But the thing you always have to remember, you do not want to be mistaken, because there could be multiple people pulling handguns and think you're a threat yourself.
Well, and you don't know who the other person is. It could be a trained assassin, could be a merc, could be former military, could be who knows, right?
Right.
And you're a civilian that's just spent a lot of hours on in a range. You're probably going to lose that one, right? So if you're out, right?
Right. It's
wait
the
for
guy
law enforcement.
that has a lot of training on the range is going to have a tactical advantage, obviously.
Yep. So that's crazy, brother. What else, man? What do you think about Trump? Everything that he's done so far. I think you got to be happy. So many people are very ecstatic about what's been going on the last few weeks. The cabinet members, I think everybody's chomping at the bits to wait for cash to get, confirmed over at the Bureau. We have Pam Bondi at DOJ. I think that's going to be a great combination. Let's see what happens with Tulsi. But Hegseth, Radcliffe over at agency. I think we got a pretty core good team there, right?
Yes, I have I mentioned to you before. My daughter's in Germany.
Yep.
With my grandkids and my son-in-law. My son-in-law is F-35 fighter pilot, and they are thrilled.
Are they?
They are thrilled. You know what they had in Germany? They had he couldn't get involved, but believe me, I raised my daughter. She's my daughter, and they try to have, when they first got there, a tranny, the tranny at the a library reading to kids.
Holy shit, dude!
They try to have that, and there was a hearings on Capitol Hill where they had Miley and Austin generals. And they claimed they didn't know anything about it. They had to be confronted with the literature. Here it is. Well, I'll get to the bottom of it. There was hell raised by the military mobs there in Germany, and they had to cancel it. They were going to have tranny hour at the military library for the kids.
Oh my God, bro!
This is how crazy. It's how insane we've gotten.
Hey, so the agencies. So we know there's a lot of corruption in the agencies, the warfare, the lawfare, the weaponization of some of these agencies. We know a lot of good people that are in them. We've spoken to a lot of them, I'm sure, as you have, and they all admit the same thing. That it's rotten to the core. I don't know how easy that's going to be to clean up, man.
We have to hope for Trump's 4 years, and then hopefully Vance can get another 8, because it's not going to happen overnight. No. this woke stuff that just hit us. It's a cancer.
Yep.
It's a Marxism. It's a cancer, and the pronouns and everything else. It's just crazy. I don't. It's going to take a while to root this out. What happened with DOJ and the FBI? I worked at the FBI for 5 years at the Phoenix office here in Phoenix. Great people there. But what happened is you get the agents that eventually get to DC, and not all of them. All agencies have those people within their agency. Their main goal is to get to DC and climb that promotional ladder.
Yeah.
And if I was king of the world or king of the U.S., I would move all those agencies out of D.C. and move the FBI to Moose Nuts, Montana, send someone to South Dakota, and then have them do briefings online, like Zoom calls, because I think what happens is a lot of these career agents from all agencies, when they get to D.C., they start looking at that job after they retire, and they start getting very political and rubbing elbows with the political class. And then they create monsters that are not good for their own agencies.
Yeah.
It's in an ideal world, I think we would move that away from DC. I know it's important to keep them there, but you see the mess that we had, the rot that was going on at FBI headquarters at DC, the DC headquarters, the politicization that happened before Trump even took office, during the Obama years when they started their crap. And of course, they have the mainstream media, the legacy media, that will carry their water and promote any lie that they want.
Amazing, man. Amazing. So what's next for you, man? What's next for you? Are you going to sign up for one of these deputized roles and go hunt down criminal aliens, or you going to stay on the analyst side? And
I'm doing some stuff in Mexico right now, and hope to be leaving. I applied for a job in Abu Dhabi with an intel side. My security clearance is done. I'm just waiting to get the go. It was delayed, but I hope to do a year or so in Abu Dhabi, working directly for their government as an intel advisor, and then call it quits right off into the sunset. I do have a podcast I do on Wednesdays. It's a law enforcement podcast.
Where can they find it? Where can we find it?
You can find us on YouTube. We're on Rumble. I believe we're on Rumble. We're on some of the other medias. It's called The Thin Blue Line. No, it's called Ash Wednesday.
Okay.
But it's Ash Wednesday because what we do, we say, we're all cops. There's three of us. If you like God, if you like country, if you like cigars and whiskey, we've had some great guests, some legends in law enforcement. We had one of the informants, one of the cuates who helped take down Chapo Guzman.
Oh, wow.
He's in witness protection. He came on our show. But we call ourselves Ash Wednesday, the thin blue line. The gray line behind the thin blue line.
There you go.
And we have primarily guests that work drug enforcement, gangs, Mexican mafia out of California, and we do it every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time, 6 p.m. Arizona time.
Very cool.
Something like that. So, 6 p.m. No, something like that. But we're on YouTube.
Very cool.
And it's sometimes we get 300 views, sometimes we get 20,000 views. It just depends who we got.
Very cool, man. Very cool. That's exciting. I'm gonna have to follow it, man. Have to follow it. Hey, so quick question. I know we got to go. As always, it's a pleasure to have you, Robert. You're a friend, and especially somebody so knowledgeable. Is whatever happened to Project Leyenda, that whole investigation, the Hector Baez accusations, it seems like it went nowhere, right? And it's not going to go anywhere, right?
I don't think it's going to go anywhere, and I think, like I said, well, I met Hector once, but I don't know him well, and I just didn't seem to get much traction. it got a lot of views. It's interesting to listen to.
Yep.
And there's some accusations that if I was running this country, I'd have somebody revisit them.
Yep.
But it doesn't seem to get much traction, so we'll see what happens.
Which is strange, right? Because that was a pretty serious accusation that the CIA gave up Kiki for arms, right? On the Contra stuff.
Now, I know, I've told you, I have some friends that worked Operation Leyenda. They were on that case. One of my mentors, I worked at DEA on and off with them for nearly 7 years as an undercover guy early in my narcotics career. And I know some of the guys say, hey, Hector was a great undercover cop. Some of the accusations are pretty big leap. That's
I spoke to somebody, somebody I've known for a couple decades at DEA, done Latin America, done U.S., done, pretty big deal. And, I spoke to him about Hector and that, the last narc and all that. And he said, look, he's like, have you talked to Hector? And I said, of course, multiple fucking times. And he goes, what do you think? And I said, well, my question was, what do you think? Right? And he goes, well, I've interviewed him over 20 times. And I said, okay, so what do you think? And he goes, when I retire, I'll have an opinion.
Right.
And I said, no shit. And he goes, what did you think? And I said, well, I think there's a lot of truth to that, for a lot of different reasons. I know the agency will leave bodies behind and we'll fucking, that's what they do, bro. I mean, they'll fucking do anything to leverage whatever the mission is. And, that's why you don't probably want to be in an agency because, once you're out of the country, you're fucked, right?
Right.
But I wonder if somebody will open that up, man. Maybe that's something we should whisper to the administration about taking a look at,
Right. I have worked with the agent, alongside the agency in 3 of the 4 countries I have worked.
Wow.
And my name, I got leaked, I got outed on WikiLeaks for some work I did in Europe.
That's not good.
So, but the thing was that it's a luck of the draw. I worked with some guys that are still friends. I'm friends with them right now. And I worked with some that I wouldn't trust turning my back on. Yeah. So it's just a luck of the draw, just like with everything else.
Yeah.
But I worked around or would meet with them. And I would wish I could say share information, but usually it's you give them information and nothing comes back, except when I was in Mexico. I had a really good contact in Mexico that we worked really well together, but in some of the other places, there's like, what's yours is mine, what's mine is mine, pretty much.
Amazing. My earpiece keeps on falling out, so anyways, with that, Robert, I'm going to let you go. It's been a pleasure. You're the man. You're a stud. We can see on the screen. Follow Robert at Robert Arce on X, right?
Yes, next.
And don't forget to follow his podcast on YouTube. And by the way, I need to connect you with the guys over at Rumble, man. You want to push everything through Rumble. They'll distribute it to YouTube and every other platform for you. And they'll help you monetize as well. So remind me to make that introduction. All right, buddy?
Will do. All
right, man. I appreciate you. Thank you very much, man. And we'll chat.
All right.
All right. Take care, Robert. Hey, guys, I hope you had a good time. We had a great vacation. Obviously, we stopped podcasting from, right before Thanksgiving, took December off in January because we wanted to really just hone in on everything that was going on in the Trump administration, nominations, confirmations, who's going to go where, who's taking the front line, first row, second rows, who's going to what slots, where our people, our friends are. And obviously these last few weeks of him taking office, pushing executive orders, and really bringing America back, which is so important for all of us. But, make sure you share this with everybody. We're on Rumble for video. On audio, you can always listen to us on Screecher, on Apple, on Spotify, on iHeart, on Amazon Music, Audible, you name it. We're everywhere. And we're going to be here every day, as always. And we're not going to stop. It's always going to be the same. Truth bombs, F-bombs, no bullshit. So let's fucking go. And we'll see you tomorrow, guys. Thank you very much. And it's been a pleasure. And wait till tomorrow. It's going to be a very cool show.